Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to replace the battery on this HP Spectre x360 convertible model 15-CH011DX. Alright, so, I've actually replaced the battery in advance, or removed the battery in advance, because if you look at this, yeah, I was not going to leave that battery in there. You can see what that looks like, okay? And I'll show you what the replacement battery looks like now, okay? This is what the replacement battery looks like. You can see it's much thinner, not exploding. Model number is YB06XL, okay? Important thing though, we want to make sure to take note of which way that battery connector is facing. So actually, let's look at this again. So you can see the battery connector was facing like this with the metal pins, exposed pins facing up. So anyways, to remove this, we're going to need a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver and also a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver. I actually left my other screwdriver inside, so I'm just going to use this one. And we have all the right bits. So we're going to use the T5 or Torx 5, and we're going to remove the two screws down here first. Alright, the customer lost the rubber pieces here that were holding that. So we're just going to ignore that for now. Okay, you want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. If you mix them up, you can damage the computer. Anyways, we're going to keep the screws like that, flat side down, in the pattern we remove them. That way we can know where each screw came from. If this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Anyways, we're going to get this rubber piece, or if it's missing the rubber, then we're going to get this plastic piece up. If you can't get underneath it, you can see I use my fingernail, but if you can't, you can use like a really small flathead screwdriver or something just to get underneath this piece, and then you can peel this out just like that. Alright, we're going to set that aside, and we're going to remove these. Again, these are JIS1 screws, but you might be able to, should be able to remove them with a PH1 or screwdriver as well. Just make sure you put a lot of downward pressure so that the screwdriver doesn't kind of come out of the screw as you're undoing it, because you don't want to strip the screw head, and then that way and then if you do that, these screws will basically be permanently stuck there. All right, it'll help if you have a suction cup to do this. It's not absolutely necessary. You could also use a you can also use two pieces of tape that are basically attached together to make like a little pull handle. So basically, if you get two pieces of tape that go and meet up like this, then you can use that as a grab handle to pull this out. Alright, so this part is pretty difficult to remove. What we're going to do, we're actually going to remove it from the center area here first. Again, it helps to use a suction cup to do this. So basically, when we use the suction cup, it's going to pull the cover up like this, so it curves, and that gives it some area to kind of pull the clips inwards, so it's easier to remove. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold the edge of the laptop here that's not on the cover and pull up on this. You can see this kind of pulled up and popped out a little bit. All right, then what we're going to do, we're going to kind of like bend it like that. So I'm going to pull up here and push down here to pull these clips out, and also this piece that goes behind the hinge, and you can see now it came out. We're going to do the same thing over here on this side, pull that up. Okay, if you can't get this side up, you can also use like a thin pry tool or something, or your fingernails, to kind of get in this gap to kind of pop that up. All right, and if this comes out like that, it might be a little bit easier, but there you go. You can see it pop the entire thing out. Okay, this piece has a little bend in it, but I don't think I'll be able to bend that completely flat. I did bend it back a little bit when I first worked on it, but I can't really bend it completely back to normal. All right, try a little bit more, but yeah. All right, so that one can't really be bent back completely. As you can see, there's going to be a permanent bend in there. All right, we'll set the cover aside. Here you can see I have the battery removed. There's basically just a few screws holding it in place that I actually put back already. So there's the 2 screws down here and the 2 screws up here. Ooh. And then there's also another screw over here. So we're gonna remove all those screws. Okay, just pretend the battery was in there. Anyways, we're gonna remove that screw. Then we're gonna remove the 2 here. Okay. And then I'll kind of just go over what's inside the computer. If you're messing around with the internal components, you can disconnect the battery. It connects right here. You kind of just grab that, pinch it, and wiggle it to disconnect it. All right. And then once you've done that, then open up the computer and press and hold the power button for 15 seconds to drain any residual power. All right, so the internal components here, let me actually show you real quick. You got this one cable here going to the SD card slot here. Okay, then you got this little board here connecting with this little cable all the way up to here. This kind of part of the cable you get underneath and you can pop it up. It's like the MacBook speaker connectors. This one is like one that you pull back. All right, you got the speaker wire going there. And what else you got? We got this little connector for the fan here. The fan connector also is one of those that you have to get like really close underneath and pop it up. Again, you want to watch some of my MacBook repair videos if you want to see how to remove that. There's the speaker connector there. Actually, let me zoom in so I don't have to keep holding up the laptop. Okay. So speaker connector there, you can grab that. You can kind of wiggle the connector to pull it out. All right. What else we got here? We got this connector going across the top there. Okay, this cable. And that's for the power button and the USB port over here. You got the DC jack charge port connector here. This one's kind of a pain to remove because it's kind of tucked underneath here. You got the LCD LVDS connector here. If you're gonna mess with that, make sure that after disconnecting the battery, you did press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds with the computer open. You don't want to do it while the computer's closed or it's not gonna work. All right, you got another speaker connector here. For this one, another speaker connector over here for this one. Wireless card is here. One screw holds it in place. It pops up slightly, then you can pull it out. The antennas, you just pop up from the tails. I don't want to mess with these because they are somewhat fragile, and I've actually seen people that bring them to me already broken. So yeah, you don't want to mess with those unless you really need to take it out, because there's some risk if the solder job isn't done properly. All right, and you got another speaker connector over here. All right, another fan connector down here. Okay, what else? You got this connector. Is that a fingerprint reader? No, I don't know what that is. So I don't know what this thing is for. Oh, it is a fingerprint controller. The fingerprint reader's on the side here. So this cable goes there to the fingerprint reader, and that goes to the motherboard. You got this cable going over here for the volume buttons. And then you got the keyboard backlight cable, keyboard connector, touchpad, trackpad connector. All right, all of these have these little flip latches that you flip up and then you can pull them out. I don't want to mess around with too much stuff because again, all we're doing is replacing the battery. Their computer was already working. All right, I'm gonna show you how to get to the RAM here. Hopefully it's upgradable. There's this metal box covering it. So I get under there with my fingernail, okay? Just like that. Hopefully you can see, and then I pop it up. It looks like it is replaceable RAM, so but probably only one slot. Oh, actually it extends out to both sides. So let's see, can we pop this whole thing out? It's kind of held in with this adhesive, so it's kind of annoying, but it does look like it's coming out. There we go. Okay, so you can see 2 sticks of RAM. Pop the tab here to the side. You can pull this out. And you can see this is PC4 2400T. Should be able to upgrade to any PC4 2400T if you want. You can get 2 16 gig sticks. You can probably even get 2 32 gig sticks. Make sure it's PC4 2400T. All right, to put it back, just slot it back in at an angle like this. I like to kind of wiggle it while I'm kind of pulling it into place and then click it down. All right, and that's pretty much it. We're gonna go ahead and put this little cover back on here. Just line everything back up. It's a little bit difficult because this plastic thing is kind of in the way, so you can't really see, but make sure it lines up with all those little clips that kind of hold it in place. And then once you get it all lined up, just push it down. Okay. Oh, this side's not reaching far enough, so we're gonna have to pull it back up. Again, you want to make sure that all the clips do end up back in. Okay. And this can be pretty annoying. Okay. All right. So there we go. Make sure everything is lining up. You might have to kind of pull or push on the little cover a little bit to kind of get it to line up. Sorry if it was out of view, but hopefully you get the idea. We're just getting all these metal clips lined up to hold that into place. Go ahead and push that back down. Oops, I probably should have zoomed out because it's like so far zoomed in. All right, let's go ahead now and get the battery back into place. Okay, and hopefully that is correct. All right, let's get this in. So what I like to do is line up that little raised part here with this little hole here first. Okay, and then we line up the rest. Make sure all the screw mounts line up. If this isn't reaching, you can use like a small screwdriver to get in there and kind of pull that into place. There we go. And let's go ahead now and get the screws into position. I'm gonna loosely fit it first, and then once we get all 5 screws in, we can go ahead and tighten them all down. Okay, just like that. Last 2. All right, and tighten that down. Good. All right, and when we plug the battery in, you do want to be careful. Make sure it goes in straight, not at an angle or crooked or anything. You don't want to risk bending the pins inside the slot. All right, very important. I've had one person that they actually completely bent all the pins in there, and that was not good. Okay, make sure everything's good, looks good. All right, then we got to get this connector in. Let's see. There's no indication of which way is the correct way or not. So the main thing is just making sure that you plug it in the same way the old battery was. Again, from looking at the old battery, let me see if I can show you this. Okay, looking at the old battery here. When I put this in, you can see this is up. There's no way it would like twist on its own. It just stays in that position. So that's how you know. And then you can also see black, black, green, white, red, red, red. And then you can see the yellows on that side. So, okay, so you want to make sure that goes back in the same exact way. If you have to, move this plastic out. Okay, and again, we're going to get this completely lined up. You want to make sure it's not going in at an angle. Right now it's tilted up. So what we're going to do, we're going to bend it downwards. Okay, make sure it goes in straight. And then you want to pull the entire thing at the same time. There we go, just like that. Make sure the cable goes in, again, straight. No, you don't want it tilted at all because you don't want to end up damaging those pins. All right, so we're going to zoom back out here. And we might have to plug this in. We'll see. Okay, let's actually open this up. We can test it right now. So we're going to open this up, press the power button. And I do hear power coming on. I did see the screen flicker, so we should be good. Usually after disconnecting the battery, I believe this battery is also used as the CMOS or BIOS battery. Wow, it's really dusty, so I'm gonna have to clean this up, but there you go. You can see it says CMOS was reset. Press enter to continue. Oh, there you go. So basically you just have to press enter and do that. But anyways, that's pretty much all there is to this. It is going to power cycle a few times, but yeah, we're just going to reassemble this thing now. All right, this thing had a lot of dust in it, so hopefully the fans are going to be okay. I actually took the fans out and cleaned them up. These fans are actually removable. If you take these 2 screws out, you can actually lift it up kind of at an angle and kind of wiggle it out on both sides. Same thing, this one also has 2 screws, one here and one over here. All right, and It's making a little bit of a noise, but yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and put this thing back together. They said originally the laptop was dropped, and that's why they thought the battery did that, but yeah, that doesn't happen from the laptop being dropped. It's usually from it being 100% charged and then just sitting always plugged in. You don't want to leave your laptop like that, right? Anyways, what we're gonna do, we're gonna get the bottom in first. Okay, you want to make sure this is all flush down here. Okay, once you get the bottom in, if you want, you can put the T5 or Torx 5 screws in first. That'll actually help make it easier to get the rest of it in. The only thing with this is the battery, when it expanded, it actually ripped a little bit of the other side, so it's not even going to hold the screw is not going to hold that side in place, but at least we can do the left side here. Okay, I'll put the screw in anyways, but again, it's not even holding on to the case, so it's not really going to do anything. Okay, the same thing happened on the right side. The screw got ripped out, so it's not really holding anything. Okay, this isn't aligned completely, so let me fix that. And we'll tighten this down. Maybe it is holding the case a little bit. Is a customer outside? I hear somebody talking out there. Give me a second. Oh. Give me a second, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Let's go ahead and put this thing, continue putting this thing back together. So again, because this piece will hit here, okay, you can see what you have to do. You kind of hold this up slightly so that it kind of bends it inwards, and then you can push this into place just like that, okay? And we're going to do this on both sides, just like this, okay? Flex it in. Make sure you get these little clips in as well. If you can't, make sure to pull it up a little bit more, okay? Hopefully you can see how it's going in there, okay? All right, and now everything should be seated right. Then you kind of just work your way up, make sure that all of this is seated in as well, okay? Same thing with this side, make sure it's all seated in. All right, and push that into place. All right, and there we go. Now we just get all the screws back in and put the adhesive, and we're good to go. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, again, please make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Other than that, that's all there is to it. You're welcome to stay as I put back the last few screws and the adhesive piece. But yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, let's get this last one in. Perfect. We'll get the adhesive back on. To do this, just get the edge all the way lined up and then get the other edge and just line that up and get that down. All right. Make sure everything is in the groove and not sticking out on top. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next one. Let's drop this. Bye.